Welcome back to Traveler's Proc.
Yo, what's
Thanks
up,
for
everybody?
thanks for stopping back in. We're back online. This is gonna be our new setup. We have it live on myself, Mike's, and our YouTube channel. So if you want to check it out in any of the spots or all three of them at once,
Oh my
feel
god, that'd
free.
be crazy. Yeah, you just got back last night, is that right?
This
Like just like
morning.
this morning? Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, Roy's been he's been dealing with moving and stuff. So we're mainly trying to see how the online format goes. Billy's been helping us a lot. So shout outs to Billy and the high risk production team. They're still helping us out. So we'll be multi-streaming it. Also, we probably should have tweeted it earlier, but both of us forgot. But we made another YouTube channel. I think we had mentioned it in the other episodes, but we made another YouTube channel, and we're going to put all the VODs from season 2 on there. And then I'll also go through it and I'll link it to like the playlist from season 1 for anybody who missed any of those episodes and you want to go back and watch it. But we just want to try to have everything as easy as it possibly can be for you guys to watch and listen in any way that you want. And I think also on that note, for people who are listening live, I believe the VOD from last week will probably double upload this week. Like on that YouTube channel, we'll probably put this episode and the one that was before it. So we should be all up to date and things should be smooth sailing, hopefully.
Yeah, and then also for all the season 1 episodes, Mike's just gonna put up a playlist, and it should just all be on that channel as well. And all the season 1 should still be on Mike's channel, and then there'll be a playlist for season 1 on the YouTube as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I think for this week, probably a bit of a shorter episode. Did you sleep at all, or did you just wake up and go, or what's your deal?
I slept a little bit. I slept like, okay, so this morning I had left for the airport at like 6:30 a.m. and then let's see. I went to bed at like 4:30. I slept 2 hours, then got on the flight and then got back, and then I came back here and then I slept for like another 2 hours and now I'm here.
Oh my god, dude, you're nuts. That's awesome. Yeah, I think let's talk about the Bobby tournament first, I think. How far did you get in that? I got first rounded.
I also got first rounded. Okay,
Nice.
I know we said there isn't that much to talk about for it, but I can talk about my game. We were actually owning in our game. We had I think we had like a 6,000, 7,000 gold lead. We blew them out in dual lane. We got, I think, their first like 2 green buff spawns.
What team did you play first round?
It was April's team.
Oh, okay.
Like
okay.
April, Bayrenary, Ogie Bree, I think Disco Fairy and Kveka, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they played pretty well. But we had a huge dual lane lead. I think Davey had like a 4 level lead on Kveka, and then we were pressuring buffs really, really well. We were doing pretty well in all our lanes. No one was really behind. We had pretty solid lead, and we got FG. We did FG in front of him because we had Kukulkan, and we lost 2. We still got it, and then we got mid Phoenix off it. So we were in like a really good spot to win the game. And then Kuzenbo happened, and we just got wrecked by the Soul Link Kuzenbo. Their comp was just broken too with Kuzenbo because they had AMC and Loki with Kuzenbo solo. So at the start of the fight, Davey and XD would get honeyed, then they'd get Loki decoyed, and then Kuzenbo would literally solo our entire team. It happened 3 fights in a row. I'm not joking. He literally killed our team 3 fights in a row. There was a play that we had a sick play. We got behind them at the red buff. They didn't know we were there, and we went on AMC to start the fight, and it looked like a fight. Like, I remember I went back to see what they were saying on Bobby's stream, and Bobby's like, oh, looks like they're just going to win the game right here. And same with Nico was watching it too, I think, and they're like, yeah, this is like a game-winning play. And we lost the fight where we instantly killed AMC basically when we had a 5-man flank. Yeah, the Loki, as we were going to AMC, Loki decoyed our entire team and he still got his honey off. So we were all poked, and then Kuzenbo literally just cleaned house on our entire team. It was crazy. And Davey messaged me after the game, and he's like, bro, I don't even know how he lost. I'm like, Kuzenbo just killed us all. That's all that happened. But we gave him like a crazy comp, like AMC plus Kuzenbo. AMC was really good, I feel like, for
He's
this
so
entire
broken, yeah.
But our game was sick, I feel like. It was really close and we could have won. It was just unlucky that we didn't.
Yeah, I kind of like, it was kind of tragic. It was like the classic game where you like calm where the jungler is and I don't calm it again, and then they got like a level 3 gank on solo lane, and then we were just like playing the whole game behind on our frontliners, and the game was just so hard for him. We had like, also Hurry was like a sub for the team we were playing, like he subbed in like a week before or whatever, and he
So
played
you played Weekend's team?
yeah, and he played Yamoja, and he just peeled all of our damage, and then we just couldn't really play the game. So it was a little unlucky, but I still had fun with the tournament. I still had fun scrimming, even though we didn't do well. I still had fun with it.
So was the game close at all, or was it just like
Not
GG?
really? It was like a little close in the early to mid game, and I think what broke the game open is there was like a pyro. We were like pretty even. Maybe we were a couple thousand gold down. And I want to say it's like the second pyro was at like 20 minutes or something. And we were waiting. Our carries hit level 20. And I think Sam Marbach, he was our ADC. He had like a full Deathbringer. And he was really fed. He was coming out of base. And I was saying like, oh, just like wait for him and then we can fight. And we ended up like, I forget who, but someone got picked like at that pyro. And we just like basically lost fire off of it, and then they won the game from there. So it was a little like sad the way the game opened up, but yeah.
Well,
yeah,
it was fun
sometimes. Yeah, it was.
It's funny because I feel like my team could have done really well, because I think if you looked at the finals, it was Gon versus Elion's team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Gon's team won, or Nog, however you want to say it. He's always flip-flopping his name. But they both had good hunter players, I feel like, and my team had a good hunter player, so I feel like we had the recipe for success. We just didn't follow through with it, basically. Because I think, besides Davey, Tuba and Hydrogen were the two best hunters of the tournament, right?
Probably. I don't know them all off the top of my head, but yeah, those are definitely two of the better ones. Yeah.
Yeah, Coast is saying ADC Monopoly. Yeah, no, for real. I feel like there was like there's not a lot of ADC players that signed up, or like people like Coast and Cyclone just wanted to play.
They off-rolled, yeah. Yeah, dude. Honestly, I think I would have had so much more fun. I mean, I just didn't know, because at the time I had signed up for the tournament. I really wasn't playing like ranked. I like took a break after Worlds for a little bit. And if I knew support was going to be as fun as it was, I definitely would have played support. So I was a little sad that I didn't, but I still had fun. I think it's still like, it was kind of cool to scrim with people, and it'd be like a new experience for some people. I feel like is cool.
Yeah, no, I think the next one's gonna be even better. I think if he does another one, so
I'm sure he will. He's tweeted that he wants to do like a bunch throughout the year. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited though to see some of these tournaments. I know Vulpes ran not this past weekend, but the weekend before. I definitely want to see some more tournaments that are maybe not draft format as well. Maybe I'll do a tournament or something that'd be fun, or maybe we do the Traveler'sproc tournament, dude.
That would be cool, dude. I want to get in some of these. I don't know if it's like Vulpes and Ice is the other one, right?
Yeah.
I gotta get in some of these tournaments. I think they'd be fun. It just looks, especially if I'm not like scrimming, it'd just be fun to just like hang out with people and just play in them.
Yeah, just load up on Friday and play.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if Ice is still happening. I hope it is, because that was such a fun tournament. But I think Vulpes is back, at least.
Vulpes is the one on Sundays, right?
Yeah, Vulpes is Sunday, and then Ice was Friday night. So
nice. Yeah, that'd definitely be cool to check out.
Oh, you know what we didn't even talk about that we should talk about too is the Super Bowl was on Sunday. Did you end up watching it at all?
I did, yeah. Did you?
Yeah, I watched it like kind of weird a little bit. I didn't watch like the very end of the second quarter, and I didn't watch the beginning of the third quarter, but I watched like basically the full first quarter, the fourth quarter, and the halftime show. I don't know why I watched it like that, or well, I could tell you why actually, but yeah, so
were you raiding on Sunday night, like in between or something?
No, so I was still in Georgia, and I just had the game on, and then I ordered some food, and they brought me, like, it was after the halftime show, so this is why I didn't watch the beginning of the third quarter. They brought me someone's order of Wingstop, and it was like $220 worth of Wingstop when I just ordered like a bowl from like a Mediterranean place for
Oh
myself. It
my
was like 20
god.
bucks. So they just drop it. I open the door. I'm by myself at the house in Georgia, keep in mind as well. And I just see like this big platter of wings, like 3 bags of food. I'm like, I didn't order this. I'm like, what is
Oh
going
my
on? So
god.
I called the guy and I was like, I walked outside, I was like waiting for him with the food. So that's why I ended up missing like the start of the second half, but it was pretty funny.
Oh, did you give him the wings back?
Yeah, and he gave me my food. I called him, so yeah, it was
Dude, those
lucky.
poor people who ordered that many wings for like who
They
are
had to
like, you know,
wait forever.
yeah, that's so sad. That's sick that you ended up most of the time whenever that happens, I can't get in touch with the driver and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'm just stuck with this and it just sucks.
Yeah, no, I like honestly, I know that it would have been probably better to just keep it, but like, well, first off, I'm vegetarian, so I wouldn't even eat it. That's number one. Number two is that it would have ruined someone's night. I feel like because
Yeah, for
like
sure.
it was definitely for a Super Bowl party, like second half. I don't need $220 worth of wings for myself. Dude,
Holy.
I was actually so surprised though. There was like a huge, like, you know, like those like metal containers. It was like
Yeah,
two of those metal containers like filled up with wings, and then like 3 bags of food from Wingstop. And I was like, holy cow, dude!
that's insane. Yeah, that
I
was
do
definitely
not
for a
need all
party.
this.
That's good they actually hopefully ended up getting it at the end. Dude, do you watch football much? Like, do you pay attention to it closely or anything?
Um, not. I used to when I was younger. I used to watch it all the time. I was a big Seattle Seahawks fan when they had
They were
Sean
so sick.
Alexander,
Yeah.
but as of recent, I watch it. Like I've watched all the Super Bowls. I'll watch some games here and there. I feel like I know it like pretty well, but not like at a really high level at least.
hmm Dude, I won't get like super into it, but I really did not want the 49ers to win. I know a lot of people hate the Chiefs just because like, you hate seeing the same team win all the time, but I am just the biggest 49ers hater ever. And I was just thinking like the whole game, I was thinking eventually like I just think Mahomes is the best player I've ever seen in my life, like most talented.
So good.
Yeah, I know like Brady's the GOAT and like accomplishment wise he is, but Mahomes is just so like the whole game I'm just thinking like you can't just keep the game close and like not score against that guy. Eventually, like he's just gonna make a play, and he just did. He's just too good. Dude,
Yeah.
did you see there was a stat? Okay, two things. Number one, there's a stat that he's like 8-2 in the playoffs. He's now 9-2 in the playoffs when trailing by double digits. That is so insane to think like you're literally down double digits and you have like an 80+% chance to win the game still is such a crazy stat. Also, everyone can say hi to Echo. He's waking up from nap time, apparently. Um, but also, did you see any of the SpongeBob telecast, the Nickelodeon broadcast?
No, I didn't. You know what's funny? I didn't know what that was. My brothers. So I watched the halftime show like with my brothers and like his girlfriend like in a Discord call, and she was linking stuff in this Discord call of like Mr. Krabs. I'm like, what is this? Like I didn't know what it was, but what is that?
Yeah, dude, it was actually so funny. I watched it with like Aggro
Uh
and
huh.
his connection to like the normal broadcast. I don't remember if it was CBS or what it was. It was like it was stuttering a little bit. It was pausing. So we were like, oh crap, I guess we'll try the Nickelodeon one. And it was actually so troll. It was so funny. Like even as adults, like all of the dumb things they said, like it would just be stupid stuff. Like the Chiefs would score and it would be like 3 hours later, the Chiefs like finally scored or something. It would just like have a bunch of stupid SpongeBob memes. Or they would show celebrities and they just like renamed them all. I don't know. It was actually like unironically, it was kind of more enjoyable at times than the normal broadcast. Dude, okay. Last thing I actually have about it. Did you see the way it was early in the game? His name's I think Dre Greenlaw. He's like
Oh
he's
my god,
he's a
yes,
really good
dude.
linebacker. Did you see his injury?
Dude, that is oh my
That
if that happened, like
yes.
that's the one thing that like what we do compared to sports, like people love
Yes,
to
that's what I was
compare
gonna
it.
say.
That will never, I don't think there's anything that can happen to us like that, like when we're playing, and I'm so thankful for that because that has to be so brutal. Imagine imagine you're playing in the world's finals for Smite, and then you literally walk up to your computer and then your hand falls off or something and then you can't play
You
anymore.
like break your wrist like getting out of bed or something. Like,
Yeah.
it's so sad, man. I like I didn't show him the clip. Leah showed me the clip, but I was with Sam for soccer and we were talking about it. And that's the first thing we said is like, it is the most sad thing for me about sports compared to esports is just that you can just have freak stuff like that happen. The guy's literally running, for people who don't know, he's one of their better defensive players. I don't know if he
He
was an
was
all pro
owning.
or pro bowler or what, but yeah, he's very, very good.
He was
Uh,
flying around the field like that entire first half. He like didn't he get like he had at least like 3 or 4 hits, right?
he went off on like their first like drive or two when they were on defense, and then I think it was early on, like maybe late first quarter, early second quarter, he got injured or something. But yeah, he's like literally just excited to run onto the field and tears his Achilles, and like, oh, it's so sad, man. I hate it so much. It's the most depressing thing.
Yeah. I think the turning point of the game was obviously the punt. I can't believe that what bounced off that guy's foot. Like it is actually
Yeah,
crazy. Imagine how that guy must have felt when he went to the bench after they got the, and then
I know.
he gets to the bench, he's talking about the play. Literally 30 seconds later, Mahomes just puts in the end zone, and you're like, oh my, you have to feel so bad as well for that to happen to you.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy.
You know, another thing that's actually pretty similar to, I mean, regardless of like what level of competition it is, right? Like, obviously, Smite's not the freaking NFL, but like, a feeling we've both experienced is when you lose and people still like want to talk to you or like interview or cameras or whatever. Because after the game, they're showing like the players in the 49ers who are obviously like sad, and there's like confetti dropping on them as they're sad and stuff like that. And, a bunch of people were like, "Oh, I can't watch this. Like, it makes me feel so bad." And I'm curious what you think because it's been talked about in Smite too. I kind of like it when I feel like you got to show the losing team. I feel like if somebody is like breaking down crying, you don't need the camera to stay on them for like 4 minutes in a row. You don't need all of that. But I think like capturing the good and the bad is really important.
Yeah, because I feel like if you don't capture that kind of stuff, like if the other team just loses and they just get up and they're like, "Oh, whatever," like it means they just don't care, which is like it's good. It's cool to care. Like
Yeah, it is.
so I don't know. I think like them showing that stuff is always a good thing, just in general, because you don't win every time. Like everybody always tells me, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry you lost. That sucks." I'm like, well, that's what I signed up for. Like that's what it is. Only one team can win. Like if you compete in anything, like you shouldn't expect to lose, but you're gonna lose eventually.
For
You're
sure.
not gonna win every single time. But yeah.
Yeah, in a weird way, I think it's kind of what makes it, it's like what makes it fun and it's what makes it enjoyable to a level is seeing everybody care about it, and then it means something. It's also cool for like, it's also cool for the future, like now that you like kind of feel what those players experience to an extent. So now like, maybe you didn't care about either team, but maybe you don't care about one of the teams next year, but then maybe the 49ers are in it, and you'd be like, oh, it'd actually be really cool if they won because they like lost last year and they like had to experience that, like I think it just makes it easier to I feel like it makes it easier to relate to players and have them not just be like NPCs that you're like, oh, screw this guy, he sucks.
Yeah, 100. I think it's so good to show the emotion because it's real,
Yeah.
and nothing's cooler than just a real moment. I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to talk about, so another thing that happened this week was Season of Discovery Phase 2 came out. A lot of people play WoW. I don't know if everyone does, but yeah, have you been playing that a lot? How's that been going?
Yeah, so it came out. It came out Thursday at like 3 p.m. Eastern. Like,
Yeah.
what was it? 4 days ago now, right? Or is that 5
5?
days?
I
Oh
think
yeah,
today.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
today.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
Yeah, 5 days ago. I'm dumb.
yeah.
Yeah, 5 days ago. I played a lot on launch. Um, and then I've been playing all weekend. I played a little bit of Smite because I played on Friday just to prep for Bobby's tournament, and then I played Bobby's tournament in the morning. But other than that, besides like trying to figure out stuff with the house, like just getting more and more stuff moved out. Like I think on Sunday, I had Sot in Miggy lives in like in the Alpharetta area, so he came as well. We moved all the furniture because I gave Sot like the couch chair that I have, the TV stand and the TV. I gave him all that, and he got a U-Haul, and we carried all that into his apartment. So I did that like on Sunday, and then I did a couple other things around the house as well, just to clean it up more. And then other than that, like I've just been playing sods, and it's been a good time.
Nice, dude. I gotta catch up. I'm like, I was kind of in the same boat as you, where I like right on release, there were just a bunch of other things I wanted to do, like scrum for the Bobby tournament, play the actual tournament, all that type of stuff. I'm like, I kind of got a little sad because I was like, there's just no way I'm hitting level 40 and like still getting all the other stuff done. So I haven't really played for a couple days, but I think I'm gonna try to play a lot more this week. I'm only like level 33 on one of my characters, but the silver lining there, we were talking a little bit beforehand, like Roy messaged me. For people who play it, they'll know what I'm talking about. But there's an item called like a small flame sack. It doesn't really matter what the item is, but I stockpiled like literally like 1,000 of them,
I
and now
basically played the stock market in WoW, and his
yes,
stocks are up through the
it's
roof.
up like five x, like it's up like 500%. So I haven't been playing much, but I'm hoping it'll be easier, dude. I might just pay for mages to like SM boost me or something, because like I'm just rich now, which is nice, like in WoW. So yeah, it's still been cool. I'm pretty excited. Like it seems like a lot of the classes that are really good are also classes that I play, which is always nice if you feel like you have a class that's really strong that you get to mess with.
Yeah, it's looking like Hunter and Shadow Priest are the best right now. Druid was also really good, but they just hot fixed them last night, so they're still good, but they're not as overpowered as they were for sure.
Yeah, I doesn't seem okay. Every people did this last phase too, where they're like, "Oh yeah, warriors suck," and I feel like people have been saying that a little bit, but I'm holding out on that. I feel
I
like
think they're gonna be good.
I think so too.
I saw one of the warriors play. He was doing like crazy damage, but I think you kind of need a good comp because the bosses you need like a priest in your group if you're a warrior because the bosses have more armor apparently than Molten Core. And Molten Core for people that don't play WoW is like so we're level 40 right now. That's where we're at in Season of Discovery Phase 2. In Original Classic, which the game is like based out of, the first raid, which is like a big dungeon that you do with like 40 other people, the bosses that you kill in there armor value, which is kind of like smite armor, like if you have more armor you take less damage from physical damage. Warriors deal physical damage. The armor in Nomargon, which is the current raid right now, has more armor than the level 60 armor bosses in Molten Core. So I think that's why warriors are raging about it, quite literally raging, but they're actually not getting rage because they can't do damage to the bosses.
Yeah, I think I play. I have like an enhancement. I have an enhancement and a prop paladin that I tank on, and then I have a warrior that that'll probably be the one I level the like fourth out of them, and then I have a shadow priest. Shadow priest is OP though, so I kind of want to play that. But yeah, the warrior I'm gonna hold out on. I want to see if someone finds like I really just want to play prot warrior, honestly, but they've been pretty rough so far. It seems like, so who knows how that'll go.
Yeah.
Have you done the world event at all, or like the STV event?
Oh yeah, they hotfixed that last night too. It was like there was so buggy. My one friend Zach or Azaleas is playing a warlock, and there's a spell called Subjugate Demon, which you can take control of a demon, and you other warlocks can use that ability on other warlocks when they're in metamorphosis, and it lasts for 5 minutes. So
That's
you can't control your
OP.
character for 5 minutes if you get the cast off. So you can just like walk around with other people, like, and he got subjugated in the event. and he started flying through the air. It was so buggy, and he was getting spam phased, so he couldn't play the game. And his
That
game,
sounds awful, but also so
it was
funny.
so funny. Yeah, it was crazy. It was super buggy, but apparently they hotfix it. I heard it's a lot more fun now, but I haven't tried it since last night with all the new changes in.
Nice. Yeah, I gotta get to playing for sure. Hurry has been mad at me because I've just owned him on leveling. He's like kind of waited for me a little bit on one of his characters. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'll play a lot tomorrow. And then I'm like, never mind. I want to go to the gym. I want to do all these other things. So unlucky, but
I'm lucky.
we'll get in there.
Yeah, one last thing I guess I'll talk about WoW is that the guilds. We have two guilds. We have an alliance guild on Crusader Strike, and then we have a guild on Living Flame. And it's cool. We're playing with like the on Living Flame. Like DJ Pernicus is playing with us. The best. There's like a lot of like old Smite players and like current Smite players, and it's fun. Glick
Yeah,
as
Panda Cat
well.
started playing this phase
Panic
too,
Cat.
right? With us, yeah.
Yeah. Panda's 40 as well. I think he's gonna try to go the Nomer with us this week. So I saw Gil
Nice.
and Glick were trying to level as well, and then Joshy's also 40.
Yeah,
Um,
dude, Joshy was grinding, actually. He was going crazy.
yeah, but it's cool. It's fun to just get together with like all the Smite guys and play. It's been a blast.
Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, I think you said you had a couple other things you wanted to mention, like Smite wise.
Oh yeah, so I was thinking about this. I guess I was kind of talking a little bit about my stream, but it's so weird. Like now that we're in the like I guess it's like different. Like I don't know, it's like a different kind of off season for sure. But just in
Mm-hmm.
general, like after you play with any player for a while, it's always weird going back to like the off season or just like not playing because you spend every day basically scrimming and like talking to the players in your team, and then all of a sudden, like you'll still talk. Like I'll still talk to my teammates for sure that I played with past year, but like it's not like every day of event. Like I'll talk to them like maybe every couple days for only like a little bit, like a couple messages.
Yeah,
Every single day, it's weird. You go from, I guess that's just life though with a lot of things, but it's just like turned up to like the maximum with like Smite. I feel like because I feel like any job, it's probably like the same thing, but like my life was basically Smite, and I was like living it. Like I am talking to my teammates literally every day, living with them, scrimming with them, and then it's just done. You're just done. Like you just don't talk to them like nearly as much. It's just such a weird feeling. I don't know how to like explain it. You know what I'm saying though, kind of.
yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because I was actually thinking about that when I woke up today. I'm literally brushing my teeth and I'm thinking like, it's so weird. I just have nothing to do today. Like normally I would do my morning routine and then I would like go scrim. And then, like you said, like you're spending at least like 3 hours or so with them and talking to them the whole time. And now I'm just like, it's also a really weird feeling that I think I've talked about this like a very little amount, but like we didn't even like the discussion of like staying together as a team or like what you want to do, or like just all of that is gone or like kind of non-existent.
Oh
So
yeah, I didn't even think about that portion either. That is super weird, like compared to like all the other years, because that's
yeah.
kind of what everybody's talking about
Hmm.
amongst themselves for at least like a month, even after everything's set in stone, kind of.
Yeah, for sure.
So
So there's just like just having that not happen at all just feels like it feels a little bit it like took me back for a second because I'm like, wait, like what is going on? Like my routine does not normally feel like this, like something's off. But yeah, it was funny because I've seen Leah and I have been going to the gym in the morning, and I think Laspera and Fine OK, they've been going in the afternoon. So normally when we're finishing, we've like seen them a couple times when they're going in. And it's so funny. I'm just like, oh, that's Last. That's my teammate, but also not really anymore. But I'm just like, hey, what's up, man? And it's so funny. Like I've talked to him more like walking into the gym than I have like outside of it, where normally I'm just talking to him for like 3 hours every day. So it's such a weird feeling.
that is so weird, actually. That's good. That's so weird, but it's like it's not a bad weird. It's just weird. Like it's
Yeah,
weird from our POV. I don't know if it's weird like from like the I guess the viewers POV, but for like me and Mike, it's super weird. At least I don't know.
for sure.
Um, but yeah, this year I think um we should talk about what they showed in the keynote. I think they planned on trying to have like 2 tournaments this year, or at least one tournament, and then one like early next year. Because I think the timetable is like sometime like in where are we at right now? We're in fall. It's like or sometime around fall. That's when they or no, sometime around spring it would be is when they want to bring out Smite into alpha, and then like summer I think around summertime is beta, and then like early early next year is when they want to fully release the game. So I think that's like the timetable, and I think they want to try to have a tournament sometime around the summertime this year. So that is going to be interesting, right? Because that's when people are going to start talking about team stuff again. So it's going to be like halfway through the year. I feel like is when that's going to kind of happen.
Yeah, and it's also interesting because I mostly know for the NA guys, since a lot of people have like moved back. Um, it's actually been kind of cool on that note to see like EU ranked is kind of like back. Like there's so many more people streaming it now that like genetics and Nika and adapting, like they're all over there. So I think that's really cool that you can like I feel like maybe it's just biased because I'm watching the streamers, but I actually do feel like there's a lot of people queuing up, which is really cool. That's really cool to see. But yeah, I think I'm not really sure. Like they haven't said too much with the tournaments, but I think you're right. They wanted to do one like this summer or maybe early fall or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be really interesting because I think both of us have play tested it a little bit, but yeah, I'm kind of curious how the game looks and like just even things like what gods are in and stuff. I think it should be fun, but yeah, I don't really know. Like, it'll be funny if we like find the announcements and then where we hear the announcements and then we go into like a full roster apocalypse or something. That'd be so funny. Everyone
Dude,
loves that.
that'd be crazy. I feel like it'll definitely be a fun time for Smite when all that stuff gets announced and we have all the dates.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but I think the game is gonna look so different come like from Worlds time to then. I'm like super excited to see what they can do with it, like with the time that they have right now.
Yeah, 100%. I think that for the tournaments as well, I think it'll be interesting if I don't know if they'll have like a qualifier thing or what they'll do, or like maybe they'll do it like where it's like kind of half like pro players or like half content creators, even like who really knows what they want to do. But I think it'd be really interesting to see as well. Like you start to get like some of the regional stuff back. Like I think people kind of take it for granted because you're just used to it, right? But even just if people are messed up with ping, I think it'll be interesting to see like full European versus full North American versus like full LATAM teams. I'm actually most excited about the LATAM teams because I think there's a lot of good players that are like from Latin America, and I think that's like pretty exciting to me. I mean, obviously everyone knows the original like Sanguine or Leviathan's team or whatever, but there's like you mentioned like Gone, like there's a lot of really good
There's some
LATAM
Brazilian
players.
players like yeah as well. Like that's where Gon's from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They'll partake in the LATAM circuit. So I'm curious to see like the teams that come out of there. I think Genetics was talking a little bit about it on stream. He was saying that he was thinking about moving to Mexico. I don't know if he's gonna actually do that. I don't know how much he talked about it on stream, so I don't want to go too far into it. But I think he did mention it. But I remember I was watching his stream the day of the Bobby tournament, and he was streaming from home, and he's like, "I need to get out of here. I need to find a place ASAP. I can't be home anymore." But
Oh, that's so funny.
yeah, he was like he was. I think he's trying to look for a place. So I don't know if he's gonna stay in the UK or if he's planning on doing that. But maybe people will consider like going to different regions as well. Like that's always a thing that I feel like that could happen too. Which
Dude, I said that to Dardes like as a joke. I'm like, should I move to France and we can keep playing together?
that'd be sick though.
It would be cool. I mean honestly, if it seemed like the best option, I would do it for sure. Dude, okay, I don't know if you've talked about this before. Didn't you consider doing that in like season 4 or something? Am I crazy?
That was like no, it was like season 2
Oh, really?
or season was this season 1 or season 2? Yeah, it was season 2. Oh, and I did consider it in season 4 as well, I think. But I was like, I was on a EU team. Okay, I think it was season 2. I was in an EU team with Variety. It was either season 1 or season 2. I can't remember. It was season 2. It was season 2 for sure. Actually, I was on a team with Variety, Shadow Nightmare, Frostiak, and Young Bay. And that was my team that I started on.
That was basically what became the like EU Dig, right? Season 2.
I think so. Yeah, but I was on. It was Novus Orsa, or so, I forget what the team name was, but it was something like that. But I remember I played with them at the start of season 2. Because I remember, so like for back in season 0, there used to be no servers for NAEU. Like when you queued ranked back then, like you would just if there was more EU players, you get put on an EU server in the lobby. If there's more NA players in the lobby, you get put on an NA server. Or maybe it was something like whoever the highest MMR was. I don't know how it worked exactly. There used to not be servers you can sign up for. It would just put you on NA or put you on EU when you're queuing ranked then. So I played with Young Babe, but I played with like Murder, who is like Kanye Life, I think. That's who he switched his name to. He was on the what were they called? The Titan team in season 1.
Yeah.
I remember I played with him a bunch. I played with Emilito. Like me and Emilito played a bunch. I remember duo queuing with him all the time. Like playing like Kabrakan, Huyi, Kabrakan AMC lanes. But yeah, I played with a bunch of the EU guys, so that's how I got talking to them, and that's why I considered doing it back then in season 2, because I thought they were all really good. I think Payne did that. I'm pretty sure he played. I guess were you? Yeah, you. No, wait, you weren't around at the beginning of season 2, were you? I'm trying to remember. You came.
No, the only time I remember Payne was end of season 2. He was on like Enemy and like Legion of Carrots, but that's all I remember.
Okay, so the beginning of that year, Payne did that. He was playing on. I don't know if he played in EU SPL or if he played in the qualifier, but he played in EU with an EU team from Canada. I remember. And then he swapped back to NA like later in the year with like Legion of Carrots, like you said, an Enemy. But yeah, I think I considered it, and then what ended up happening is that I think Eager gave me an offer, and I just went with that because I thought, whoops, it dropped something. They were really good, and yeah, I was like, if they're this good, I might as well just play on good ping instead of trying to play on EU ping, because it was hard to play on ping for sure, even back then.
Yeah, I think I've been thinking about that a little bit, just because I think you had said it. It was like after like the first episode we did like a couple weeks ago, and you were just like, oh, like, do you think you guys would like stay together, or would you like play on ping or what? And I haven't really thought about it a ton, but I feel like I would at least want to try it out. Like if that's what sounded the best to everybody, and I haven't thought about it at all, but if that's what sounded the best to like all 5 of us, and that's what people wanted to do, I would definitely think about it, because yeah, it's just so weird. Like the off-season difference is just so gigantic for me that it's odd too, because I'm sure you know the feeling of like, this is kind of in a nice way, but the off season used to be so stressful, because not only did you have to figure out all that stuff, but then I was also one of the people, like you're probably like this too, like you had to find like an org and stuff. Yeah. Like originally, or then yeah, like recently we've had to like move and find team houses and all that type of stuff. So I definitely I'm welcoming the less stress that it's giving me, for sure. That's nice.
Yeah, it is nice, like in that regard for sure. But I think you should try it at least, like you said, if that's what makes the most sense to you, at least. Because for the event, like if you qualify to the event, then like you're on ping.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Probably do it. Because I'm gonna be honest, like as much as the regions are really cool, like there's not gonna be as many good teams per region for sure. I feel like. Especially coming to a new game, I feel like it's going to be really hard at the beginning. So I think if you have a pretty good team, you have a pretty good shot at making it, even playing on ping. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'll be back to this topic has always come up about like going back to regional Smite and having the rivalries. And I think everybody always likes to envision the like C9 versus Epsilon where they haven't played each other all year and you're like, oh, these are like two of the best teams like in their region. And there's like these big clashes of metas, and that stuff is really cool for sure. But I think people also forget about like half of the region basically just being stomped by like those like one or
Yep.
two teams that are at the top. Like, and a lot of those like regular season matches aren't as close. And it's not because all the players are just like bad, but it's because like you said, they're just more like widespread. So it's harder to like, the whole like super team thing. It's harder to have like a super team where just every single player is really, really good, which like fortunately in the SPL, like I think it's been really competitive the past couple of years. Like, even as much as people like to crap on like the Glads and stuff, like they're not a free win if you come in and disrespect them and play bad and don't prep for them, like they're still good players on these teams. So I think it would be cool. It'll also just be cool to see like if people like genetics, like you said, like moves to Mexico and like that shakes it up a little bit, or if you have something where like if there's this new talent or like new, like a lot of these ranked players are like pretty young, like if they're older and they get like some experience and stuff, I think it'll be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be like I remember I was talking to a bunch of these players like that play ranked, and they're all saying like, oh, this year like they hear they hear bad things coming about this year, but for these guys playing this is perfect for them. Like this is
Yeah.
going back to regional smite. Like if you're playing ranked and you're good right now, like if you keep honing your skills and you get into the scene, like you could actually make um like a really good splash and have yourself in a good spot for playing. So I think it's great for all these rank guys coming up. And the other thing too, which is interesting, I will say this because the end of the online regional era was like what 5 years ago, right? Like season 5. So
Yeah.
even like 6 years ago, that was like the very end of like having the different regions. And I think even by season 5, I think we only had like NA and EU, and then we had, I think we had did Sanguine. No, Sanguine
Sanguine.
played in NA. I think that was season
Yeah, that
6.
was season 6. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but season 5 was like the end of like the regional era, and I think I talked about this on one of the past episodes of like I feel like the the floor has raised really high in Smite players in general and just video game players in general. I
Hmm.
think everybody is so much better. So I think going back to this regional format, I feel like it's going to be a lot different, and I'm really curious to see on how well some of these new teams coming in are going to do, because I think they're going to be a lot better than what we had before. Or maybe they're not and they just suck still, but I think there's a good chance that they're just a lot better than what we're used to from before, especially with how much knowledge there is out now. Also it depends like on the feel of Smite 2 when it comes out. Like how much does it feel like Smite 1? Because if the game feels a lot different, it might take some time and like a learning curve for people to get back to like playing at the best level as well. So maybe it will be just like teams dominating it, like that are just that have more knowledge kind of, because it might be hard to have good mechanics going into Smite 2 if the game's a little bit different and you're not used to it 100%. So I'm really curious to see how it's all going to shake out.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of like you said, it could go anyway. I think the interesting thing to me is that all of that will be true, but imagine there's a player like, let's say like Zapman, for example, like someone who both of us would say is like one of the smarter like Smite
Yep.
players, just like has a lot of knowledge and stuff. Like you could just have a player like that who maybe like I don't know if he does or doesn't. I'm just using him as an example, but like maybe Zap doesn't want to play competitively, but maybe he'll like either make content or watch games on stream, like comp games, or maybe he'll like coach a team or something. And I think even if the game will change, I think a really big learning curve in competitive Smite is how to like communicate with your teammates or how to play the map or like why different teams are doing stuff. And I feel like in the past, kind of like you said, in Smite 1, for example, when you're like the Epsilon days and stuff like that, like people are just better button pressers than you and they're just like winning off of that. And they're just more talented straight up. But I think when it comes to nowadays, like you said, I just think video game players in general are just like better and more talented on average than they were in the past. So I think there's a pretty good chance that mechanically there's just a ton of very, very good players. And if you suddenly have people like Zap or whoever that is available to you to like kind of teach you all those other things, that didn't exist back then, right? Like when Smite 1 was new,
That's
there's
true.
there's nobody who's like, oh, I've played this game professionally for over a decade like Zap has, and I can just tell you like, oh, here's how you should like try to ward, here's how you should try to play the map, like here's how, like, even if you can't be that specific, it's like, oh, like if you want your jungler to come over, like try to say their name directly or try to like plan it for them, try to tell them like, hey, my purple's up in like a minute, can you try to be here for this, you know? Like all these small things now we just take for granted as like, oh, of course that's how every team has to communicate. But if you're a newer player and you're just like a really good ranked player and you're younger and you haven't gotten that experience, being able to speed that up for somebody could be huge.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that either. Just the knowledge that some of these guys, like especially like Zap, because he's been around, like him and Barra for sure been around the
Yeah.
longest as well. I don't know how much Barra is gonna do with Smite, but I know they've still been doing the podcast over there, the backlighters. I know everybody wanted us to be the frontliners. We were never doing that. We were never doing that. But yeah, people like him, Barra, and then I guess even like myself too. I gotta throw my hat in there as well, and then even you too. It's
Twig
crazy.
as well.
Hurry as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of us that have been around for a while, and then like even Weekend, you could even say like I was watching Weekend's stream when he was doing the scrims, and I know like he hasn't played competitive Smite in a while, but like watching him, he still knows his stuff. I feel like pretty well. So
For sure.
you don't lose that. I feel like even after you step away.
You know, we were leveling in WoW, and Hurry actually said that to me as well. And he was like, I never played with Weekend before, but I can definitely see why like people back then they like enjoyed playing with him or thought he was a good teammate, because like I played with him for like 6 to 8 months or something, somewhere in there, like a little less than a year. And he was really good at a lot of the things I just talked about, of just like having productive conversations, like criticizing your teammates, like doing it in a respectful way and like trying to find common ground, or just even like just talking in game and like being very clear about like, what do you want to do, like do you need me to come over here, like do you want to like plan this fight or that. Like he was really good at a lot of stuff like that, and I think people take that sort of stuff for granted, because literally just, I mean, I always used to say this about like to Cyclone, and maybe it's not totally fair because I don't get to hear all of your guys comms, but I just think Cyclone's like one of the players, like you can literally win a game with your mouth sometimes. Like I think the easiest example is like when he's on Bog and he can like control the game and stuff, and you can like see that you guys play differently when he's on that character. Like that's so valuable, especially if you have like a bunch of experienced players who can all get on the same page. Being able to teach that to people, and I think it'll happen for sure, like whether, like you said, like whether it's the examples we gave or if it's us or if it's other players, I think just being able to have people around like that you can pull information from is so huge.
Yeah, and I would definitely suggest checking out if Weekend or Hurry have VODs up of when they scrimmed. I think it was cool. I watched a couple of their games when they scrimmed. I didn't watch, maybe their Bobby tournament games were good too. I didn't end up watching any of those. I watched you know what game I watched? I watched the game after we lost. I watched the Ducky play the team that we played against, and that game was pretty crazy. But yeah, it was interesting to watch, I feel like, as a spectator for sure, because you got to kind of look in to see how people were communicating and stuff. And the coolest thing about the tournament, I will say, I'm kind of going back to it. I just thought about this, is that you had people of like all different skill levels of like, I guess it's not like you didn't have people that were like bronze 5 or whatever, but like skill levels from like maybe like right entering like the diamond range, like basically people you would see in ranked from like the lowest tier, but they're still good, to like the highest tier ranked, spread across all these teams. And it was really cool just seeing them work together and actually communicating and trying to play more coordinated Smite than a ranked game. It was like a in-house that was like one step up from in-house, but it wasn't quite to like a competitive game level, I feel like, there yet. But it was really fun content to watch.
Yeah, totally agreed. I think there was someone else who I was watching. Oh, actually, you guys scrimmed them, I think, twice. I think you had scrimmed Sherry's team,
Yeah.
and I'd watched both of you a little bit back and forth, and that was cool too, just hearing how like both teams were communicating, and also just like if you're like side by side, like watching the same moment and seeing like what each team like thinks they should do is really funny too.
That is funny.
Yeah, it's a cool experience.
Some of those games, I was just letting it rip, dude. I was like, let's fight, dude. And I was calling
Yeah,
to fight all the time, but it was
yeah, I
fun.
love it. I couldn't help myself when I was there were some games I just did nothing, and then the next game in scrims I'd be like, that was boring. I'm not playing jungle to farm late game. I'm running it down. Like it's just way more fun.
um, but yeah, I'm excited for what Smite has to offer. But is there anything else you have that you wanted to talk about?
If anyone in chat has something,
Oh,
we could do like a little like if people had questions, whether it's like
about the new
about the stuff we've
format.
been talking about, yeah, or anything. Yeah, people we can do a little bit of chat Q&A
I'm
maybe for a
down.
little bit.
Let me pull up the. I'm gonna pull up the YouTube chat as well. Yeah, here we go. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, either in Mike's channel, my channel, or the YouTube channel, go ahead and throw them out there. And we can do a little chat Q&A before we get off here. Last Epoch, gonna play. I don't think I'm gonna play it. I actually tried it. My one friend really likes that game, so I tried playing it with him. Um, and I like games that I can move with my keyboard. Like they have to be exceptionally good or have like something that's gonna really draw me in to actually play. Like I played Diablo because I played hardcore to try to get on the statue, or like I played Lost Ark because it was an MMO that a lot of people I knew that were playing. And I love MMOs. I wanted to give it a shot, even though you couldn't really move with your keyboard. But like Last Epoch, it looks good, and I tried it, but like the controls just don't feel great to me. At least is how I see it. Have you seen that game at all, Mike, or no?
I haven't, but I totally agree with what you said. Like I need keyboard movement in games. I hate mouse movement so much personally.
Yeah.
Someone had asked in my chat, Wato had said, do you think we'll see teams from Asia enter Smite 2 comp? I know you've talked about this a little bit. I hope so. There's like,
I hope. Yeah.
yeah, that situation is really complicated with how it happened with Smite 1, but I definitely hope so. I think it'd be really, I mean, just the more the better, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, if we can get any Asian like region in, it would be amazing. I feel like it'd be really, really cool just
Yeah.
to compete against just more regions. I, as a player, like it's always a lot of fun to just compete against other regions because they always bring different ideas. I feel like
Yep. 100%.
it's someone from the YouTube LMASPXTO11. Sorry if I said your name wrong. I totally said your name wrong, but he said, would you guys ever team up for the tourney? I mean, I'm sure if there was a tourney coming up, like where we could actually pick our team, something similar to inbound tournament, I would love to play a tournament with Mike. That would be a lot of fun.
I was gonna when I off-rolled, I was gonna draft you when I saw you were just randomly in the player pool. But then Bobby was like, yeah, you're last pick, and I was like, there's no shot I'm getting him. But that would have been fun for sure.
But yeah, I would definitely play a tournament with Mike. That'd be a ton of fun. But for the actual like when the bring comes back, I feel like me and Mike will probably stick to support. At least is what I see. At least for myself, I can't speak for Mike, but I would definitely stick to support at least.
I was actually gonna ask, we could spend a couple of minutes on that. Do you think you would entertain role swapping at all? Because I thought about it a little bit. If I would, I feel like at the end I just love support too much that I can't imagine. Like, let's say like, okay, if Smite jungle turned into like League of Legends style jungle, because I'd say League of Legends like
More
League
tanky.
jungle is like kind of a support role, you know, like they're not like
Yeah.
super hyper
Yep.
carries. If it was like that, I could see myself like maybe enjoying it. But if it's like it is now, like I just like support way too much to do anything else.
Yeah, I like support too. I think like the way Smite has support, I feel like they've kind of nailed it like with how the gameplay is because like in League, like you're just like a little guy walking around that doesn't really do much besides throw a couple abilities out, use your items a couple times. But like Smite supports, you feel really strong and impactful in like all the fights, and I really do enjoy it. So I don't see myself playing another role unless, like you said, unless jungle becomes more of like the support role of old, which I don't think it will for Smite, just because of how
Yeah.
the pacing is in the game.
For sure. I also just think the part about support I like so much is just the I know some people dislike certain styles, but I like that there's just a ton of different styles or different metas alone. Like within support, I like having like mage support metas, and I like having like assassin support metas or like dive supports versus peel. Like I like all those different things, and I feel like you don't get that as much in some of the other roles. And like even if Smite 2 could be like a totally different game, and I'm sure a lot of things will be different, but I still think just that idea that you're playing a role, like I do think like support as an archetype is pretty flexible, like at its core, like when you're the support, you're like trying to be helpful to your team, and there's a lot of different ways that you can approach that and do that. So I think it'll just like be cool no matter what, I think.
Yeah. You have another one from your chat?
Yeah, I have a couple. Raznik asked, do you expect classes to be revamped? I'm not expecting the return of Hunter, Mage, Guardian, Warrior, /N, but maybe a broader classification. We can't say we're like under NDA, from the playtest we've played, but I think it'd be fine if I said like I definitely think they'll do things differently. Like I think they talked about items being components, right?
Yep.
In like the world's teaser. So like if you think about that alone, because I never really played that much League, but for people who don't know, components are basically like instead of you building Mace 1 and it builds into Jotun's, Brawler's, Crusher, Titan's Bane, and those are your only 4 options, Mace is just like the power tier 1, and then you can build that power tier 1 into any other item that has power. So like you could turn a mace into like Atalanta's bow or something like that. That's just like totally different, and just that alone opens up a lot of build options, I feel like, because you could also like feel things out in the game, like let's say I built like a health starter, and in my head I'm thinking like, oh, I'm either going to go like Thebes or like Mystical Mail. If I get fed, maybe I'll try to go like Mystical Mail and do damage. Like if I get ahead in the laning phase, maybe I'll do that. Like maybe I'll just like try to run it down with Mystical Mail. I don't know like what the best example is, but you get what I mean. Like you can be more flexible within the game itself, and I think like just that alone would change a lot of things. Then like that just changes classes, right? Like if you're Ymir and you get ahead, like maybe it's good to build like a bruiser or something. Like maybe that's the better way of playing rather than to play a pure tank. You just never know.
Yeah, I think they talked about it too at one of the panels, but like you can go like crit Ymir and like crit Bacchus again, like and go like power
Yeah.
on them. So it'll be interesting to see like what people come up with, I feel like, with builds.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's also one of the things that I think is really cool. I had in one of the playtests, I had a Ymir crit me for 800, which was just so troll. But I just love that stuff. Like I never got to play back then when that was like a thing, when you could build like the cross class like stats and stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah. Zader asks, outside of winning worlds, what is your favorite moment? I have a couple good moments. I feel like do you want to go first or no?
If you have one, go ahead. I'll keep thinking.
Okay, so like season 3, the first time I qualified for worlds like on Eager, that was a really good moment. Like just finally being able to get there. I played since season 1. I didn't make it season 1 or season 2. And back when the regions were a thing, it was a lot harder to qualify as like a team from NA because there wasn't as many slots. So it was super exciting to make it that year. And that was the same year that that was the EU sucks year
Yeah,
as
I was gonna say
well.
that's yeah, that ties in.
Yeah.
That'd be one of mine for sure.
But that year was so much fun. That entire like Eager team. I know a lot of people always talk about the team being one of their favorites. For me as well as a player on that team, it was a lot of fun. So winning that like regional tournament with them, that was a great moment. I have a couple. Going to the beach house with my team in season 5 with Kabam and Sino and Best, Divios and Cyclone. That was one of my favorite. That trip was my favorite Smite trip I've ever done. Me and Kabam just walking every day on the beach and going to get sea. Dude, that was like a fever dream type of trip. It was so sick. And then like just uh this past year, just like winning the 2 tournaments that we won this year was a lot of fun with like the team that I was on, because I feel like at the start of the year we kind of started out slow, and I feel like everybody wasn't like sure of each other and like the team and stuff. And then like once we won like the first tournament at the beginning of the year, I feel like everybody kind of bought into the team more, and like just like growing with the team felt really good, and that was like a fun moment as well. And then also, um even though we didn't win season 9, like the Titans year when I went to Worlds with like Stu and Sot and all those guys, I had so much fun that year. It really sucks to lose in the finals that year, but I had a blast just like going to Worlds with them. It was like I was like Stu's first Worlds. It was like Sot's played in a couple Worlds, but I feel like it was fun to be back at a Worlds with Sot because I haven't played with him since season 6. And then it was like the first in person Worlds since season 6, right? So that
Yeah.
was a lot of fun as well. But there's more that I could probably go through, but like those are some of my like favorite moments outside of winning for sure.
Yeah, I think
Or
the like outside of game, the first two that would come to my mind is season 9 Worlds was really cool because like you said, it was such a long drought between in-person worlds because of COVID. So that was definitely really cool. Like I remember we did like a 3 or 4 hour meet and greet. I remember too, which is like I'll always remember that because that was before our quarterfinals and we were like in the sun and it was like decent. I don't know if it was hot or not, but like we were just so exhausted because we like didn't eat before our matches and we were just in the sun and we were just drained from doing the meet and greet. And luckily we like still won the quarters and stuff. But that was really cool just because like seeing how many fans were there and like how much it meant to everybody, it just makes it feel cool when you're a player and it means a lot to you as well because you get to share that with other people who care about the same game. So yeah, season 9 Worlds was a blast. Just like forget everything else at the tournament. I think just like having it back in person was awesome. I had a lot of fun. Just the initial move to Georgia was really fun. Like
oh
the
yeah,
first team I played with was in Georgia was the rival team with like Captain Twig, Panda Cat Mid, Arkhill, Slaney, and Finoke. And well, Finoke and Slaney, if you want to go in order of like coach, I mean, who cares? But yeah, that team was really fun. We all had a blast together. We would just do a bunch of stuff, like go to the gym, hang out, go out to dinner. I think we went like rafting and stuff. Like we would just do a bunch of random things, play basketball, whatever. So that team was a ton of fun just to hang out with everybody and like get to experience being in a team house. That was a lot of fun. I feel like game wise, I don't there's so many like random things. Obviously Worlds will always feel the best. I think winning my first tournament, like season 4 regionals, I want to say that was a really cool feeling because I was never up until that split, I was never on like the best team. I guess like on Eager we finished second on the online split, but I was still like a rookie and I was just a huge noob, so none of it really like hit the same way to me. And then yeah, I don't know. In a weird way, seeing watching a lot of other people was like really cool to me, like different moments like that. Like for example, I remember watching both of the season 3 semifinals with you guys in Obey and then the LG and Energy one. Like those were really cool, just like seeing all the different ideas people had, like you guys were proxying or seeing they were just like a bunch of pop off performances. So even like as a fan, like watching a bunch of stuff like that was really cool. So yeah, just also the Deathwalker Ares game, that was cool too. I think that was
oh
season
yeah,
4 summer. That was pretty hype. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff like that I think was really cool as like still being a fan of the game while I was playing. That was cool.
yeah. Do you have anyone else from your chat?
Um Someone asked if we are aware of the amateur comp scene, and yeah, we talked about that a little bit where we were saying like we were hoping like Vulpes and stuff, like people kept playing those tournaments. And we think those will be fun. There's another question. I'm not sure if I completely understood it, but it was more of a comment when you guys were discussing your Smite legacy. I think of note, yours is the only worlds that isn't back to back.
Yep,
Is that actually true?
that is true. I think every multi worlds win has been back to back to back or back to back. So I think you're
That's
the only
actually,
one
dude,
that
I
has
had like a
that.
7-year gap. That's pretty funny.
That is crazy. Yeah,
That is
that's so
crazy.
sick.
That is kind of cool. I thought, like, honestly, maybe that would be, I guess you like said without winning worlds in the previous question. That is actually something that I think is really cool, just like from a bias standpoint. Winning with like basically a full NA and a full EU team. Actually, just forget even winning, just playing with basically like a full North American and a full like European roster, and like seeing the differences with like just those people individually, but also like kind of like the regional mindset is still there a little bit. That was really cool for sure.
Yeah, that is really cool because I played with a couple EU players, but I've never played with like I've never been outnumbered 4-1 for
Yeah,
EU
yeah,
players. So
yeah.
that is
Wouldn't
really
recommend it. It's
interesting.
awful.
It looked like it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, at the
You
end.
guys are pretty good at the end.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just like to run it down, man. I'd play scrim and I'd run it down, and Cherry would be like, "Dude, what was that?" I'm like, "What do you mean? I almost killed everybody." And he's like, "Yeah, well, we lost instead, so you screwed it." Yeah,
Oh my god.
but
Toast
yeah,
said it was miserable. What's up, Miggy? Oh my
dude, is
god.
Miggy asking you a dumb question?
No, he just said hi.
Oh,
No, he doesn't understand how AMAs work. You know what's funny? Snatty's a player. He played SCC, I think, right?
yeah, he
He's
did.
still
Yeah.
he was on Genetics' team for the Bobby tournament. And I remember I would always go into his stream because he was on the stages. I remember actually last year at a point as well.
Hmm.
Um, but his title would always be like um Ama or playing Ama or Smite and Smite and Ama, or it'd be AMA, and I'd be like, I always go to his chat. I always be the annoying guy saying, "Where's the Ama, dude? You said Ama in your title. You're not playing Ama." I was always that guy in his chat. But yeah. Someone
Yeah, no,
here
I
in
think.
the chat asked, "What percent of former pro scene do you think will return or will likely try Smite 2 comp?"
Oh, that's a good question. I missed that.
Yeah. I don't
Mm,
know. I feel like that's a hard question to answer because it depends on what information we get going into the tournament. Because I
yeah,
feel like a lot of people will base it off of that. But well, how I look at it is maybe some people will wait as well to see like how the first couple tournaments pan out, and then maybe they'll hop in like later on as well. But I think it really comes down to what information um they give us in the upcoming months, because people might want to try to get like a job. I know Sino's already gotten a job and he's already started working and stuff. So he said he'd be interested, like for him, like he'd be interested to play again if there's a lot of information on it and like seeing like what they actually say about like the structure of it and everything. But it really just depends on how much info they give out, when it's gonna happen, and then like even after those two things, after the first couple tournaments happen, like how well those tournaments do, and like I guess how much Smite 1 translates to Smite 2 as well. I feel like, or like the biggest factors, how I look at it at least.
yeah. I feel like knowing the percentage is pretty tough. I could give like, I think it also depends on like people's life stage. Like I think Curry has said it on his stream a good amount, but like he's in a similar boat with Sino, I think, where he's been like he's still like doing stuff here and there, like he's still like streaming and like he still likes the game, but he's also um like we're just like older and we have like bills to pay, stuff like that. So he is looking, like I think he's been looking for like other jobs and all that type of stuff. And it really just depends. I mean, a lot of us who played competitively, like obviously like money is always nice, but also we just enjoy the game, right? Like a lot of people just really enjoy playing or enjoy playing like with a team, and like having that like experience is really unique. So you never know. I know there's a bunch of people like Scream, for example. He hasn't been like super active. He's like streamed here and there, but I think he's like a good example of someone who like he's gonna see like what happens, like what information they give him. But I'm sure like he'd be interested in playing. So I'd say more than you think. Like not everybody is gone. I know like everybody
Yeah, that's what I
everybody
think
bought
too.
like Alex. I don't know if it's even bait or not for Fine Okay, but he tweeted like I'm never ever gonna play comp again. I don't know if that's actually like true or not, but like I think
If
he's like
there's no way, if it's fun and it looks good, he's
yeah.
back 100%. I feel like.
Exactly. I feel like he's just making the joke of like, oh, everybody says they're done, but you never really know, like just it depends on the circumstances and it depends like just if it makes sense for people in their like current life.
Yeah. Let's see. What are the top 5 most broken items in Smite history? That's a good one. Soul Reaver's got to be up there, like the OP version of Soul Reaver.
Okay, I didn't play. I know there's a couple that people will use like season 1 like Gauntlet of Thebes I never played with.
That definitely could be up there as well for sure.
I think of the items I played with, the 2 mage items that come to my mind are at the same time. It was Season 5 Soul Reaver and Season 5 Spear of the Magus. And honestly, Season 5 Obshard too, because it was freaking like 50% pen on one item.
You didn't play season 1? I think Magus in like season 0, season 1 might have been better Magus than season 5.
I didn't play
Yeah.
I didn't play enough. Like I played Season 1, but I didn't really know what was going on that much.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, original Traveler's shoes actually
Yes.
were in there for sure.
The
In there
XP
for
ones.
sure. Yes. The XP, it was XP and gold, right?
XP gold, yep. Those are
Yeah,
definitely there.
yeah, the original Traveler shoes. I'd say the compassion meta for sure should be in there.
Oh,
That like literally broke the game.
yes.
Um,
Benevolence.
yeah,
Gold.
benevolence. That's right. Yeah. So how many did I give? I gave benevolence, Traveler shoes.
Soul
I said
Reaver.
like, yeah, we'll go with Soul Reaver. Season 5 Soul Reaver was disgusting. I just give all the like 10 killing items like kin size. That's broken. Oh, you know what I actually think was really broken, and I still think people. I kind of was thinking everybody was so like troll when they thought it was bad. The original prophetic cloak. I don't know if I'd put it in the top 5 or anything, but original prophetic cloak was really, really OP as well. I thought.
Oh yeah, honestly, that could be in the top 5. That item, I remember that was a hot topic at the beginning of this year for good reason, because that item was ridiculously OP. Like it was
Yeah.
actually crazy how good it was.
Yeah, 30 of each prots. You stacked it like as you were stacking it, it was better. Like just everything about it was better. It was so OP. It was before the stat squish too was really, really broken. Dude, I feel like do you remember? Okay, I wasn't like a comp player or whatever back then, but I remember it was like I want to say it was season 2, the original mannequin scepter. I remember watching people scrim. I think it was like Denial
Yeah, it
and
was broken. Yeah, that item.
yeah,
I remember that.
I remember watching like Denial and like they ended up being AFK, like the Cyclone Kiki Allied Incon weekend team. Like I remember watching them scrim and they would like 5v5 fight at level 1 and mannequins would just one shot everybody. That's gotta be up there too.
Yeah, mannequins was not okay for sure. Oh, you know another one that you would agree with me on that never really kind of got into the pro scene was Bumba's Mask, like the speed version of it.
Oh, I loved that thing, man. I
Like
loved
I
it.
actually think no troll, like if people actually started doing that SPL, it would have probably like taken off. I feel like eventually.
Did you build it ever in the SPL? I built it once.
I didn't build it ever. I should have, I feel like. But
Dude, I built it. I played. It was a week Sino started going crazy with it. I played Bumba's Baron and it was actually broken. Like I actually thought it was so the only reason, honestly, that I didn't play it more was because it was the invade meta and I thought Baron was bad at the invade. That's the only reason I didn't keep playing it. But I actually did think it was OP.
Yeah, I guess if there wasn't an invade meta, that's probably what would have been meta. Because I think for the invade meta, like you needed like you couldn't afford going an item like that early on. I
Yeah.
feel like, or you would just die really, like, because the whole point is in that invade meta is you wanted to waste as much time as possible, and if you're going like an early Bumbo's mask, it made you. Did it make you do less damage and take more damage, or did it only make you do less damage? I can't remember. Or if
I
it was
think it
both.
was do less, take more, but your movement speed was
Yeah,
crazy. I think that sounds right. But
yeah.
it wasn't like 20, I don't think. I
It was
forget
like,
exactly.
wasn't it like it was like crazy, like 30% movement speed or something insanely
Yeah, I
broken.
gotta look this up, dude. It was
Yeah.
nuts. Yeah.
But I think if it wasn't for the invade meta, that probably would have like taken over the game. Like people, there probably would have been like 3 or 4 Bumbas in every
Okay.
single
I don't know
SPL
if it got nerfed before, or like I don't know if it got changed, but what it says on the wiki is 15% damage taken extra, you deal 15% less, and you gain 35% movement speed.
That sounds right.
Dude, that
That
is
sounds
so
right.
fast, man. And then you get power and CDR with it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I that like that item, like I remember I was thinking about maybe doing that with the invade thing, but the problem was I tried it, I remember a couple scrims. I would get it and like, yeah, I'd be really fast, but if I got CC'd at all in their jungle, it would just be like, okay, I guess I'm dead. I can't live. And also the thing too, like on Herc, which was like a really popular god in Horus that I was playing a lot, that invade meta, is you'd actually one shot people like with your
Oh
ability,
yeah.
like even like 2 items in, and if you like reduce your damage a little bit on those gods, like even if you got power and cooldown, like you didn't do enough damage to still kill people. So I
Yeah.
think losing that threat made those characters a lot worse. But I think if the inmate, like if the invade meta did not exist, that would have been the meta, and that would have been like the same thing as benevolence. Like it would have took over the SPL for sure.
Yeah. Are there any other like would you consider relics an item? Like or like rituals, for example? Are those like top 5 broken, like combat blink or something like that?
Yeah, for sure. You can consider that
Yeah.
item. You buy from the shop with gold. Combat Blink was dumb. I remember I sold my boots to buy Combat Blink in one of the SPL games, like to just have it as Geb. It was so broken. The
Yeah.
teleport one was the most broken one though. Like teleport to God. Like people would like
Teleport to gods was
make
insane.
crazy, dude. That was like an anime meta is what you call it. Like all the like crazy like anime fights, like people were just blinking around and like backing and like teleporting back into the fight and then blinking over the wall. Like you'd have like the support like regular blink in, they combat blink away from you, then you combat blink after them, then they jump away from you, and then you jump after them, and then you'd ult them, and then you would poke them out, and then you'd get poked out. You would both teleport back in with new blinks. You go on them again, they blink away from you. You blink on them again, and it was like like crazy fight, just going forever. I remember it was insanity.
Yeah, dude, I wish at that time I was just like I was on like Randozos or whatever, and we were just not a good team. So I didn't get to experience all the late game like crazy stuff, but it was definitely in ranked, that was just a nuts meta.
God,
It
I don't
was
even
so fun.
remember ranked from that. That had to be so crazy. I'm sure everybody was split pushing. Dude,
Oh
the
yeah.
craziest thing, like there's so many things that I'm excited for. This is one thing that kind of relates to the items. It doesn't really at all, I guess, but going into Smite 2, like all the stuff that we figured out in Smite 1, like backdooring towers, like old New Wa and like Scotty and Bastet, like I feel like if that was in the game today, everybody would be picking that every game. Everybody would be doing that, but people started doing that, got nerfed. Like, there's gonna be things like that are gonna be in Smite 2 that people figure out, and like they're gonna have to nerf it, or the game's gonna get changed around it. It's gonna be fun, like figuring those new things out and like actually like playing them in real time again.
Yeah, maybe it's a hot take, but I actually think I thought it in oh, you know another item I want to put in there that ties into this? I remember telling this was season 9 when persistent teleport was first added to the game and it was broken. And I remember typing in my team chat, if they do not fix this, we are running 5 persistent teleports first week of the SPL. I wanted to play that meta so bad. I swear, like probably the least explored thing in Smite, in my opinion, in the pro league was
Teleport plays.
multiple teleports and running like a split push comp and just looking to brawl people. because I feel like that's the type of thing, especially if you haven't practiced against it, it's really hard, like in the moment,
Crazy
to
good.
know what to
Yeah.
do. Yeah, it gets so hectic.
That's a thing though that's really hard to sell to a team you're on, I feel like. Like,
Yeah.
if you're on a team with someone like Scream,
Hmm.
I feel like, or like Sino as well, like you can get them on board for that, I feel like, for sure. But you gotta get you gotta slowly get everybody on board for like a crazy strategy like that. And that's like the hard part with doing stuff like that,
Dude,
is
it
getting
was
everybody on
so
board.
fun because that's when we had Peg on, and he was a rookie, and he was like, he and Sam and Alec were down to do any of that stuff, and I was like, I swear,
Yeah.
guys, this is so broken. And Panda was the only one who was like, I cannot do a game without Beads Aegis, man. He's like, he's like, I need Beads Aegis. I can't do it. I was like, it doesn't matter. We're just gonna 5v3 them the whole game. They don't get to play the game, but it ended up getting nerfed, so we streamed it too much on ranked. Honestly, that's what happened. Everyone just streamed way too much ranked with it, because I remember I would literally go first item Relic Dagger, and I'd play like Serket and Fenrir, like any god with mobility, and I'd buy full Relic Dagger, full TP, and I would just buy Chalice of the Oracle, and that's all I would have for like 10 minutes while I'm just chain ganking and invading everywhere. It was so much fun.
That's when they had introduced the obelisk as well. So
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
you could get you can fill the obelisk with it was such a good meta for that. It was so much fun. I was buying it like every game as well.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Dude, I wish I got to play that. Oh, that would have been so fun. I think they nerfed it as well. I don't know if you remember it. There was a kickoff tournament for season 9.
Murray
They
got to
nerfed it.
play it. I remember.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, they
He
nerfed
played
it.
Burkett, yeah, and did it.
Yeah, yeah, they nerfed it before the kickoff tournament, but it was in for the qualifier, and it was in for, I think we did like, it was some like show match. It was like a pro like thing, and we did it against the casters, and it was so funny. I loved it.
Yeah, because I remember watching Hurry play Circuit, and he was just like running rampant around the map and just teleporting everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, if this doesn't get fixed, this is what's happening the rest of the year. Or if not fixed, but if this doesn't get changed, I guess is what I said. But this is what's gonna be the entire year.
Yeah, that
So
would have been awesome. Dude, I remember too, you know what my favorite thing, because like you said, people have to be kind of like outside the box with it, like willing to do new ideas. I love stuff like that, and I love like Prophetic Cloak when it first came out, and I love all the people who are only focused on the downsides and are like, oh well, it's so hard to stack. Or like, I remember watching, I remember this so vividly. I was watching Haddix, and he was like, yeah, this persistent teleport stuff is so bad. Like, I don't know why you'd ever buy it. The other one is so OP. And then I sniped him with Meerkat, and I played support. Meerkat played ADC, and we went double persistent TP, and we showed up to every single blue buff, and we didn't lose anything. And then the next game, he was like, okay, this stuff is ridiculous. Screw this. And I was loving it. It was my favorite thing ever.
That's so good. Oh my god, dude! Herman's in your chat. Herman, you got to come on the podcast one of these days.
Oh yeah, true. That'd be fun.
We haven't had Hurry on at all. We got to get. There's so many people I went on that we haven't had on that we talked about, but we'll have to talk about that. I'm excited for having guests on. I feel like it's gonna be nice because it'll be easier to get guests
So
on.
easy, yeah.
We can get guests from anywhere, and then we can have them on. So I'm excited for that. That's like one cool thing about the new format.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I think that's all I got for this one. I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, no, that was fun. I've reliving all the dude, any teleport thing in Smite, if you can do it in any way, it's just crazy. Get adapting, that would actually be a fun episode. That'd be
That
really
would be.
funny. But
Yeah.
So we're back now. We're gonna be doing this. I think I don't know if we've chosen a day. Me and Mike will be better. I will be better for sure about like tweeting out prior to when the episode comes, like when we're gonna go live with the episode and stuff. Because I feel like I did a really bad job with this one today. I could let people know so they can actually tune in live. It would be it's gonna go on to the traveler'sproc YouTube channel now. And then it'll be live streamed on both of our channels, and then also it'll be on Spotify and Inside the SPL still, right?
Yeah, and we're streaming it on the YouTube channel as well. The Traveler Proc YouTube itself, it'll be streamed live on there. I think Probably what everyone should expect is we probably have like, so we had like a week and a half between episodes while you were moving, and we had the Bobby tournament and stuff. We'll probably do an episode later next week. Like the day we're recording this is the 13th of February. So we'll probably do something, I'd imagine like around like next like Thursday, Friday, or next weekend or something like that, if I had to guess. But we'll update you guys, and then we'll probably by then we should have all the VODs like updated, like Aurora said, and we'll have everything good to go on that end, like the playlist for season 1 and all that type of stuff. It should all be up on there. What are you smiling at? Someone troll you in your chat.
Ghost said you got to get Kenny on the pod. that would be a good episode, dude. I'll have to ask him one of these days. That'd be so funny. Oh my god.
But yeah, I think that's all we got. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.